So I'll call the meeting to order. And if we could all recite the pledge, you can stand, or whichever you prefer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you all. And also, we take this opportunity to just break for a moment of silence. And if we all could just observe that at this time. Thank you very much. It's always good to just take a little break and have a moment of silence. Hello, Miss Hillary. And at this time, I think we do have someone, no, we'll wait until we get down to that portion there. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak that's from our public? If that is the case, I ask that you just come on. When you come on, just state your name and your address and your subject. We'd like to give our
Diane
community
Marshall.
time. I'm sorry?
Diane Marshall, first time joining in the meeting.
Hello, Ms. Marshall. How are you this evening?
Yeah. Blessed like everyone that is in the meeting.
Yes, indeed. And were you just sending your greetings or you had a comment?
No, well, this is the first time I'm in the Zoom meeting, and my intention is to listen in and get a little more familiar with everything that is going on.
Yes.
And that's it.
Okay, well, we're not going to keep you long tonight. That's for sure. So thank you very much for signing on your first meeting. I find that Zoom has allowed so many of our residents to kind of check in with us more easily than actually coming out into the meeting. So thank you very much, Ms. Marshall. And thank you for your participation. We've had 2 major events and you were part of both. And so we do appreciate your input, what you provided, the color and the flair and the spiciness of our event, especially our 9/11 event. Your group was awesome. Awesome. So thank you very, very much for your participation.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I promise myself I'll be at every meeting from now on because this is where I live, this is where I've been living, and I would like to see our area here in Edmonston upgrade itself to a level whereby people could drive through or pass through and say, damn, they keep the place nice. That's my intention. And also to serve the seniors in this area. That's my intent.
Very
to
good.
The seniors in Edmonston. So that's why I want to stick to all the meetings so that I'll hear what's going on and see how best I could throw out my agenda to uplift the elderly in the neighborhood.
Very good. And can I also say that thank you very much for the program where we are able to provide wheelchairs, walkers, diapers, medical supplies to our residents, our elderly, as well as just those who might be in need. So
that's right.
I don't know if I told you that someone from Miss Marshall,
I have some more to offer too. I have some more to offer also.
Oh, okay.
I have some more things to offer, but it's just that I am not at home most of the time to really put it out. But I'm going to get it to wear some diapers and stuff.
Okay, so you can coordinate with us, but I was going to say that there was someone from Hyattsville that called us for supplies because they found out about it. So you're doing a good thing. So thank you. And so
well, it's all of us. All of us is doing it, not just I alone. The fact that they want it, and the fact that all of us, it's a team effort. Because I give it to you all, and you all give it to them, and it's all part of our community, which is nice.
Yes, it is. So
yes,
thank you very, very much. So
you're welcome. Very, very.
Is there anyone else from the public that has a comment? All righty. Well, if not, I ask that everyone would mute, and we're going to go into our business portion of our meeting. And this is a time where our public just listens on. If someone listens in, if someone from the public has another comment, in most cases, we just strictly stick to the first portion of the meeting at public comment. But if the public does have a comment, I ask that you just either raise your hand or type it right on in the chat, and we can recognize you, okay? We'll be happy to do that if you have a comment to what we're talking about, but we're gonna move on. And so the first item on the agenda is the consideration of approval of the following minutes, which it is our virtual work session meeting minutes from October the 5th and our virtual regular council meeting minutes from October the 13th. At this time, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we accept the minutes.
I have ideas of what to buy for basically everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tuberville, and thank you, Ms. Chester, for your second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. And Mr. Johnson. Gotcha. No, that's not you. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I'm assuming you're okay with the meeting minutes. The next item is the consideration of amending the FY 21-22.
Rod has a question.
Oh. Mr. Barnes, please unmute yourself. And Ms. Chester, go ahead with your question.
Mayor,
No, I was pointing at
you
Mr.
missed
Barnes.
the public hearing.
I did. I simply missed that, but let's, thank you very much, Mr. Barnes. Ms. Chester.
Oh, no, I just was, I saw that Mr. Barnes was trying to say something.
Oh, okay. You were telling me he's trying to say something. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so that motion passed. And then the next item is the public hearing to receive comment on receipt of petition from the residents of 4800 block of 51st Avenue, where Ms. Marshall lives, for implementing restricted parking. And so at this time, I'll open the public hearing for our public to comment if they so desire. And Ms. Chester, did you have anything?
Does
I
Mr.
see
Barnes
you,
have
Mr.
something
Barnes.
first, or should I go first? I saw him raising his hand again.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Barnes.
Just that I wanted to say that notice was given to all the homeowners on the block of the public hearing notice for tonight and the opportunity to provide input.
Thank you. Ms. Chester?
I'll just speak as both a resident of this block as well as a council member representing the residents on the block, that we have seen a really a problematic use of our street as overflow parking, both for, I think, employees of the businesses along Buchanan/Tanglewood, as well as sometimes cars. I think of their customers that they're working on our street, and it's really caused a lot of congestion. So we all seem to, I think, really will benefit by having that limited and really only residents and our guests able to park on the street.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chester. Ms. Marshall, did you have a comment? And if not, can you mute?
Yeah, Ms. Chester was correct, but I have also noticed that a lot of cars are parked and left for weeks. For weeks, I have called the Edmonston police on many occasions whereby they towed at least 3 cars, that has been parked there for some time. It really creates a security risk for us because on this street, we have a lot of people over 50 who own property or own houses. But we have an influx of people who have moved in, and because within their household they have more than 5 people or more than 5 cars sometimes, the street gets congested. Parking in front of other people's driveway or their gate is a problem. And we have to be very careful how we talk to people about moving the vehicles from in front of your gate. That is talking about the entrance, not necessarily on the road itself, but blocking entrance and exit of your own property. And sometimes, I presume because it's a one way, we have other vehicles coming through, like the metro access and other vehicles that sometimes cause congestion. But it's because there's no room on the street for people to park because of so many cars within a family. So having a permit or a pass or something to show that your car could be here because you live here. But if you don't live here, and even if you're overnighting or you're spending a week or something by a family member or in a house, you should have something to indicate, well, I have permission to park and I am not someone who just parking
Yes.
to utilize your street and I don't live here. That's all. But
Yes.
and that's the only reason I think we really want it. It's not that we want to restrict people from parking because it's a public road, so anybody could park. But when they stay longer than and you cannot park, or when they park up in front of your place and you do not know who owns it, who owns the vehicle, you get skeptical because so much madness is happening now. So
Right.
that's about it. I mean,
Right.
I don't see any real problem, That's the only thing. And especially in Tanglewood, when I moved in here 21 years ago, we thought it was a residential area, but they have so much commercial, repair shops around, and it's madness as when you cross Emerson and you go into Tanglewood, it's like we're in a whole commercial zone. So we want also, even though it's on our street going down to the ice cream place on Tanglewood there, we really want the town to ensure that these commercial businesses adhere to the rules of how they park their car, how they stack their car in the day when we're going down. Sometimes you can't even pass. You have to toot for them to pull in. So it's just a matter of someone enforcing that they adhere to the rules and regulations of commercial business. That's all. That's all.
Gotcha.
Because all of
Thank
us
you
is
so
trying
much,
to
Ms.
live around.
Marshall.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Gotcha. Thank you for your feedback. We appreciate that. That's for sure. And
Okay.
we're happy to take care of you in that manner. It seems like most of the residents, all of the residents agree with you on your block. So thank you very much. Is there any more input from any other residents? All right. So at this time, Any comments from our council members? I know Ms. Chester already commented. Ms. Ferguson, I see your hand.
Yes, I had a question there. Does the council intend to move on this request tonight or to do that at a later time?
I thought we had to wait.
Tonight.
All council does agree. We don't have a problem with it at all. I didn't know if there was another waiting period after the hearing. If there isn't, we're ready to move on it. Is it something we can move on tonight?
It's not specifically stated on your agenda, because what you have for your resolution is to have this public hearing, and you've done that now. And you do have a proper petition in front of you. The issue is in front of you. You could amend your agenda to take this up. You would also have to discuss how you want to set this permit parking. If it's a problem that generally comes from people parking there overnight or all day and all night, then a 24-hour-a-day type of restriction would be appropriate. If it's something that only occurs during working hours, it would be appropriate to either just have it effective during working hours, or for like that you couldn't park more than 2 or 3 hours in a particular spot without a permit. So there's different ways to approach it, and you haven't talked about that part yet. What's on the petition is asking for permits for the householders and 2 visitor permits. So that's pretty standard to authorize that.
So if that's the case, and we did not address that outside of the meeting tonight by yourself or anyone else, then it means that we don't have to move on it tonight. We need to work out those things, which should be pretty simple because it's not the first block where we've had restricted parking. So it won't be major at all. But I want to ask you, Ms. Ferguson, does that mean that we have to wait until next month to actually start issuing the permits for the parking and signage? Or does it mean that we work it out and then move on it?
I think that because you put it on
Forward.
your, I think that because you put it on your agenda for a public hearing, that it can be understood that you'd be taking the issue up and could decide whether to have the, to authorize the permit parking now. That's what you were
Okay.
being asked to do.
So, I'm sorry.
So we can go ahead with it tonight, because I was under the impression it was gonna be like the other park in the town, 24/7, and there would be a grace period if someone parked, on the block, like other blocks,
Not knowing.
not knowing. The officers usually would come out, mark a tire, and then come back within 2 hours. And if it was still there, then they would ticket it and tow at their discretion. Because that's how the other streets all work.
Go ahead, Mr. Barnes.
What we were going to do next is, and I guess I assumed the same thing, that you would approve it tonight, as you have the other restriction with full-time with the 2 visitor permit issue. Then we were going to take another letter door to door, giving them 30 days to come down to town hall to get their to get their permits on their vehicles, because they have to physically come to town hall to do that, and to obtain their visitor parking passes. Or whatever time you want them to have. We can do more than 30, less than 30. As you said, Councilmember McCauley, you can, there can be a grace period, but we wanted to provide information to each resident so they knew what the process was to get their stickers and to get their visitor permits.
So I think really what we're saying is we can go ahead and take that vote tonight, and then all of the other kinks will be worked out, and then the residents will be notified. So it's just a motion to implement restricted parking on 51st Avenue. basically. Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. So right now, I'll accept, if there are no other comments. Ms. Chester, you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes.
So right now, I'll accept a motion to implement restricted parking on 51st Avenue.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. McCully made a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chester. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All right. All right, Mr. Johnson. Okay. So we'll work out all the other kinks, really not many kinks, and notify the residents, and we'll move forward with that. So motion passes. Congratulations, 51st Avenue, for working together. Make some good changes on that street. So right now, the public hearing is closed. All right. So we're going to move forward with our agenda and the consideration of amending FY 21-22 annual budget for hiring, to provide funds for hiring our part-time community compliance officer or inspector. We spoke about this at our work session and the reasoning for finding the funds and moving them. We're going to hire a part-time compliance inspector because our, I don't see the chief. I don't see that the chief is on. I don't know. We're going to hire a part-time compliance inspector because we do have Eric Beal. He has moved over to become a full-time police officer. Yeah. He's certified police officer. We've hired him as a police officer, but he's also our part-time compliance inspector. Our town has been, he's done a great job as our compliance inspector, but there is need for a full-time compliance inspector, which would be him and another part-time, to continue to move us forward. We have cleaned up some areas, and there are residential areas as well as business areas that still need compliance control. So Mr. Barnes and Chief Gibson found some funds, and right now we just need to vote to amend our budget in order to fund the part-time position. So if there are no questions or comments, I'll accept a motion to approve moving funds for hiring our part-time community compliance inspector.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you very much, Ms. McCully. Ms. McCully made the motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Turbeville. Thank you. At this time, I'll accept, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes for our compliance officer and amending the budget. So as we move along, the next item is the consideration of waiver for construction of a 6-foot wood fence in the backyard of 5111 Decatur. And I believe the resident is here tonight. Hi, Ms. Indigo. Ms. Indigo, did you want to explain what your fence will look like?
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the style is called Colonial Gothic. So that's the pretty shaped fence posts. I do have a picture. I don't know if I can share it into the chat, maybe. It is not a privacy fence, so it will have spaces between the bars. So it won't restrict the view of the fence. I intend to have it painted white. So the white picket fence, the fantasy was what I was going for. So the backyard, I was hoping to have taller, just I was hoping to get a puppy, and there are a lot of stray cats in the area.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Right across the street, right?
Yes, I think there's
Yeah.
about 20 of them. So
Oh, it's more than 3.
yes, but they're not officially owned, and we've actually had conversations about it, and it's really great, but I would prefer them not be in the garden. And so I grew up with a similar fence in a similarly aged house. So that's what I was hoping to do.
Were you going to share a picture? Do we need to give you the rights to share?
I think I have it. I'm a little bit slow here today. Let's see. So this is not the exact type of fence, but this is the style. And then it would be painted white after it changes. Oh, I guess I could screen share.
Or you did an attachment?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it so she can screen share.
Oh, okay.
Is that
He's allowing you to screen share because that's going to be easier.
great? All right. So this is an example of that fence. So it'd be
Oh,
like
okay.
a bit taller.
Okay.
Mhm. And white.
Except it's going to be white. Yeah.
And white. I think you have to wait a bit for it to settle, and then but I was hoping to have it painted in the spring if it can get painted.
And just a little taller because this looks
Yes,
4
that's
foot. Yeah.
probably the 4 foot. I can see if I can find a picture of my mom's fence.
Yeah, but just like this, but a 6 foot. Now,
Yeah.
is it going to be 6 foot all the way around, or will you have going to the front a 4 foot?
The fence in the front, I believe, would be 3 feet because it is a corner. So
Okay.
all the way around would be 3 feet, the same style. And then like going across to the house would be also 3 feet. So like if you were looking at the front of the house, it wouldn't be tall to cut that off. It would just be around the back of the yard. That would be the 6 feet.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, comments, council? Ms. Tuberville? No, you good? Okay. Oh, you do have a question, comment. I don't know how I can tell. We have worked together for a while now. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've got my assistant here on the floor.
Yeah, Marguerite.
So, Indigo, are you saying that so this is 52nd, what is the cross street there? So it's Decatur and
51st.
51st. And so the 6 foot would just be along the 51st side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the back side, it wouldn't be the whole yard from the corner.
Got it. Okay.
So some of the side would be 3 feet. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. As you get closer to the front.
Mhm.
Yeah. In the corner area. Oh, that'll be cool.
That was it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other comments from council? Questions? No? All right. So at this time, if there are no other comments or questions, I'll accept the motion to consider a waiver for the construction of her 6 foot wood fence at 5111 Decatur.
Sorry,
Uh-oh.
sorry, Mayor. Are we,
So, well, motion is already on the floor, but you can comment. We can just go ahead and vote, and then you can have the question after the vote.
sorry, are we making a motion for the consideration or
Oh.
at this point, the motion to approve it?
The consideration is to approve it, to consider the waiver.
Consider the waiver or approve the waiver, or is it the same?
I think it's the same.
I'll make the motion.
We considered it tonight. We considered it at our work session.
Right.
Tonight, we're considering it because, again, we're listening and we're like, oh, okay. Yeah, we want to approve it.
So we're not making a motion to approve the waiver?
I'll make a motion
Let me,
to
let me
approve this.
change, let me change it.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Ms. McCully. I make a motion to approve the waiver of construction of the 6-foot wood fence at 5111. Thank you, Ms. Chester. Thank you, Ms. McCully. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chester. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, motion passes. You can build your fence.
Thank you so much.
I know you started. I know you started. And
I'm very
point of order
sorry. I
from
tried my
Mr.
best.
Barnes.
Quite build the fence yet. We've got to get the county satisfied in terms of a permit.
Oh,
So
well, yeah, Mr. Barnes, we got that part. Thank you for being efficient. Thank you. That's right. That's right. Just call the office if you have any questions so you won't get a big fat red or orange stop work order.
Yes, please. Thank you
Again.
so much. Officer Beal was very kind.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
glad I'm
you.
learning
Thanks
this
for letting us know
process
that.
now.
Yeah, thanks for, you know, when you move into a municipality, it's like, what? I have to ask permission for that? What? Who do I go to? And you might go to the county and not realize that you have to come to the municipality as well. So, yeah. So we try not to we try to just tap the back of your hand, not, you know, slap you in the face or anything like that.
It was very kind correction. So I hope to learn from my mistakes and move on. And I'm glad to have you all as my neighbors. I think some of you are pretty close, so that makes me happy.
We all should be. Edmonston is not really huge, so we're all around there, but you do have some that are really, really close to you. And actually 3 of them are, and I just happen to be just a little bit down the street, around the corner, up the block a little bit. All right. So as we move on, the next item is the consideration of the proclamation proclaiming November as Municipal Governments Works Month and recognizing the town staff. Mr. Barnes, did you want to explain that?
this is our annual time of the year when the Maryland Municipal League is part of the Banner City participation that we do with them to be recognized each year. We need to take this moment to enlighten everyone and let them know how municipal government works and for the residents. And we usually take the time also to say thanks to our employees for doing a good job and helping the residents out. So this is just simply proclaiming this month we fly the flag that says municipal government works, and the league does some activities that we can share information on their Twitter and different social media platforms of what we're doing here in Edmonston.
Okay. So it's just proclaiming we appreciate our staff members. I thought you had something else in mind, but that's cool. That's good. That's why I said, can you explain that? So that's good. Yeah, we always appreciate our staff, and it's good to go ahead and have that written down, that we recognize our town staff and appreciate them, because we can't do what we do as municipal leaders without staff, because they're the ones that are there full time. And so is there a motion to approve the proclamation of November as Municipal Governments Works Month, as well as recognizing our town staff? You don't have to say it, the whole thing. I said it for you. I'll just accept that motion there.
I move that
Thank you
we
very much,
proclaim
Ms. Chester.
November Municipal Government Works and recognize our town staff.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second it.
Ms. McCully? Thank you so much, Ms. McCully. It's been first. It's been, a motion has been made, and second. Is there all in favor? Please say aye.
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 All right, Mr. Johnson, we got you down for an aye as well. The next on the agenda is a report from our chief. Did you say he was on? I can't see. He might not be on. Yeah. So let's get a report from Mr. Barnes, our town administrator.
Mayor, council members, I'll keep it really brief. We're working on several little projects. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, so the mayor will be using the Mayor Mobile to deliver breakfast to our 17 recognized veterans here in the community. So we appreciate them for their service and their dedication to the country. We want to say thanks. So that's our way of doing that. We have lots of events coming up in December, just to remind you of. December 3rd, the mayor is hosting a breakfast down at the business area on 46th Avenue. USA Party Rentals is sponsoring the sponsoring to agree to host the event at their facility. And so we hope to get as many businesses as we can to that meeting. On December 4th is our annual Santa Claus Caravan. So please mark your calendars, 5 o'clock, be here at Town Hall. You'll be handing out bags of goodies to the families. And we're going to be unveiling, not only lighting the Christmas tree, the mayor's Christmas tree in Veterans Park, but we'll be unveiling our food pantry, the idea that was presented to us by one of our residents. And so it's being constructed and it'll be installed, and the food pantry will go up. And then we have our Adopt a Child program going on right now. And many of you have already contributed to that. We thank you greatly. We have a tremendous need this year. Our numbers have grown. Chief Gibson is going to do a Shop with the Cop activity to help with that too. And so we're very excited about that program. The mayor's, I think, Mayor, is this our 4th or 5th year? I'm not sure, but
I think it might be 5.
I think it might be 2. It's been such an amazing program. Grew from 20 children to now it's up over.
I thought it was 10, right,
Was
Mr.
it 10 the
Tuberville?
first
Wasn't
year?
it 10?
It might have been 10, and then
Yeah.
now this year it's up over 70. So all Edmonston children, and all thanks to donations from wonderful folks, businesses, and individuals here in our community.
If I could just cut in, I'm sorry, Mr. Barnes. If I could just cut in on that. When this first started, we had Chief Walker and Mr. Barnes, Ed, and Ms. Tuberville. And I believe we sponsored those 10. It may have been maybe one other person. I can't recall, but we sponsored those 10, and they did it from just an idea, and they bought into the idea. And so we sponsored those 10 people pretty much out of our pockets. And I want to commend Mr. Barnes in saying, hey, let's see if we can get some sponsorship for this, because there's so many more children. And so at first we were only able to do 10, but now we're up to 70. And it shows a need, and that the businesses within our town see the joy, they see the purpose. And so it's grown to be just wonderful to me. So thank you for starting it up with me and hearing, my thoughts and moving forward with it. So thanks, Edmonston. So now we're all doing it.
Yeah. And then last thing is our social media survey. Avery and I took a little time today, went out on Hamilton and Gallatin, and we collected 15 surveys. We are up to about 70 surveys. We collected them at the Halloween event. We collected them at the bus stop. I collect them when I deliver food. So anyone I see walking in near a house, that live here, I ask them to do that. I would encourage, if you can, to reach out to your neighbors. We are going to still survey the Elizabeth Landing, and then we're going to survey, we've asked to do door-to-door surveying at Fountain Park. The corporate entity is giving us consideration on that, and what they also are putting it on their Facebook. So I think our consultants would like to see 180 total surveys. So anyone that you know that you haven't, please remind them to do the survey. And I sent out again to you today the flyer that has the easiest way to do it is with the QR code, your phone, and it takes about 5 minutes. So it's a really quick survey. And I believe that's it.
I'm getting a new phone soon, so I'll be able to scan the QR code. Because right now with my 7, I can't. But I just wanted to put that out there that I'm getting a new phone. Thank you, Mr. Barnes.
For residents to know, we will do leaf pickup now, so you can rake your leaves to the curb. The leaf machine will be going around starting probably next week. I haven't seen a lot of leaves yet at the curbs, but I've been telling a lot of people that they can get them to the curb, and we will start that pickup and continue that through probably January. Sometimes it takes that long for all the leaves to drop off the trees.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Any questions or comments from Mr. Barnes? All right, so next I'll accept any dialogue from the council members. If you have any input, comments, anything you want to report to us, please do so at this time. I see you're unmuted, Ms. Chester, so, and your hand.
I just had a question as maybe a follow-up to our discussion in the work session about the redistricting that was being proposed for Prince George's County. And I thought that there was a vote on that maybe coming up later this week
November
or early
16th.
next week.
November
So next week, I
16th.
guess, early next week. And I know that that we had just talked among ourselves about, you know, the real issues and concerns we had, and that us as kind of individual residents could express our concerns. But I wanted to circle back because I wasn't 100% clear. Is there something that we would do collectively on this, or this is just something that we would be doing as individual residents being impacted?
Very good question. Very good. Yes, we can. And I see Ms. Turbeville has unmuted herself. So we both individually, because individually you're affected, but thank goodness you are a council member. So as a council, we can also put our voice in there or state something. And Ms. Turbeville wrote a beautiful email or letter responding to the redistricting. I reached out to her in the matter of, or she reached out to me, I don't know. In a matter of a few hours, she had it ready and ready to go. So Ms. Turbeville? So does that answer your question, Ms. Chester? Yeah, and it's for you to also, when these things happen, one of the main reasons, I'm sorry, Mr. One of the main reasons I stated it to you is so that you could reach out to your constituents. Sometimes they don't understand because we're kind of in it. And sometimes some constituents don't understand, okay, well, I'll be in 2 or I'll be in 5, it's okay, because we kind of stay ahead of things. But it affects us. We should know the effect that it has on us. And being part of port towns is important. And then also transparency on the council is major, because we are a municipality and we respect them. As a matter of fact, I met with PGCMA earlier this evening. We respect them, and we should have the same respect because we make changes. You know, our boots are on the ground, just like theirs. So don't disrespect us when you're trying to do things for yourself. Ms. Turbeville?
I know I missed the work session, but over the weekend, I saw that Jolene Ivy had actually produced a pretty clear like map that shows like, here's what the redistricting commission came up with. Here's what the Davis map would do. And here's how the Davis map actually moves like the candidates that are planning to run for county council. It redistricts them right out of the districts that they were going to run in. It is shameful.
Shame.
It is a brazen, like partisan gerrymander, you know, just the same as we're seeing in Georgia and Texas and everywhere else. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I think they should be shamed for it. So I wrote a letter that I thought could be on behalf of all of like the Port Town municipalities.
Can you forward that to them? I have it, but can you forward it to them? As well?
Yeah. But I don't know, you know, when I listened in on the Bladensburg council meeting where, who was the council?
Jolene and Denny Tavares.
Denny was there. Yeah, Denny Tavares.
Calvin Hawkins wouldn't come. He didn't show. He sent Denny.
And, you know, I was kind of surprised to hear the Bladensburg mayor say that she understands the Davis map and it does make sense to her, but that she will support the port towns. You know, I felt like that was a little sort of having it both ways. You know, I think that like there's plenty of justifications that the folks who are supporting this, you know, map that they came up with in the middle of the night and under cover of darkness, like can come up
And they
with to
say they
justify
followed
it.
the process.
Yeah, but you know, the fact is like you can, it's clear what it's for, right? It's to entrench certain people in power for, you know, until we've got another census 10 years from now. I mean, it's as clear as day. So I would love for us to have our other municipalities sign on to this. I don't know the best way to circulate it, but
I'm sorry, Ms. Tuberville, Bladensburg said they will support, Comore Manor supports as well as Cottage City. And you're correct, it didn't affect Bladensburg the way that it affects us. And you're spot on about that. But she did say that if need be, they would submit a letter of support. So all of them, even tonight, Mayor Barrow said, bring Edmonston back to 5.
So Mayor, what do you think?
16.
What do you think then would be the best way to move forward?
I think the best way to move forward is a letter from us, the council members in Edmonston, and we can take your letter, Ms. Tuberville, and remember what I was asking you. You were irritated, and you addressed it at the county level, but I want to bring it into Edmonston. Like your wording was perfect, and I'd like to just bring it more focused on Edmonston, because right now I want to be selfish. I know they were wrong, and there could be a paragraph about them being wrong for sure, but I really want to focus on Edmonston because I feel that it could happen. Edmonston is not a huge college park. Bladensburg is only being affected by their unincorporated areas. Upper Marlboro is being affected in a huge way. But we are Edmonston. You know, you're going to move us for really no reason. I know what the reason is, but it doesn't make sense. It's not fair. It's not right. And it proves, like I said last week, that they don't know our history. They don't know our community. It was very selfish of them. So if we could just focus in on Edmonston, because I think that could happen, that they adjust Edmonston. I'm trying. I've been talking to, and so that would mean Denny Taveras, who is the county council representative for 2, would be our council member. But Denny Taveras is termed out. So someone else new would come in. And as I said last week, being in 22, the District 22, we kind of get left behind. Thank goodness we have resources and we're able to get some things on our own. I have relationship with, like Jolene Ivy and a few on 22, but we're not really focused on. I would hate for us to be moved to 2, where we're like at the tail end. We're across the bridge. Everyone else is on the other side of Route 1. We're kind of across the bridge. So it's Edmonston just for specific people or specific numbers. And it doesn't make sense and it's not right. So if we could narrow it down to Edmonston and just leave us alone, we're doing a great job with 5 and we'll deal with that. And that would be fantastic. Hey, Mr. Byron. Yes, Ms. Ferguson.
I've been dealing with this for a couple of other municipalities also. And I understand what you're saying, and what you would be asking them to do is to amend what's already there. I don't know if they can do that at this point. What the other municipalities are asking, College Park and University Park, are asking is that they not adopt anything. And at that point, it would revert to what was recommended by the redistricting commission, which I believe leaves all the port towns just as they are. So that's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to the question about whether or not what's been in the second one that was introduced, which is what they would vote on if they're going to vote, can be amended again before adoption. The recommended request has been to ask that they not adopt anything, and it will default to the plan and map put forth by the redistricting commission.
Yeah. That's what we talked about tonight in our PGCMA meeting, not adopting anything. The thing is, those who put it forth are not, you have 2 at-large members where it's not really affecting them. And then you have 2 that are termed out. And so it doesn't affect them. So it appears that that won't happen. And we figured we need to just make a stand, take a stand that we're here and you can't continue to do this. Just because something was done 10 years ago doesn't mean that we do it again.
Right.
10 years later.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to the question about whether they can amend it. So to reposition Edmonston, what's been introduced right now, I'm not sure. But if somebody, if your council member says that in fact could happen, that would be the thing you would ask for, certainly. I just don't know that they can do that now. Because I think they're supposed to come in with the plan and not be amending it any further. I think it's just a vote. I don't think they can make substantive changes, but
and that's one of the changes I want them to make.
Right. I don't know if that's possible, but I would check in and see, whether you can. And then
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
I think anything is possible.
Thank you.
And
that's where I am.
I did. Hey, I on my own sent a letter to one of the at-large gentlemen. I signed it as me, not as a council person, because let me, what I said last week in the meeting, a lot of them were writing that letter. So I gotta get some dogs quiet. And I specifically called out why we were being put over into that district. And was it because of the residents in the town were heavy and Hispanic? And I did put that in there, question, is that why that they have moved us over? And if so, why? Are they trying to group everybody together to separate? So if there's any flack coming back, it will come back on me, not on the town.
Yeah, I mean, what's clear is that Councilmember Tavernas was making clear that like this was all an effort to make sort of a single district, like heavily majority Hispanic. And my view is actually that dilutes the vote of the Hispanic population of our community. I think certainly we could do better with representation on this council. And, I'll be the first to say that I will be happy to step aside in the next election if it would mean that we could get better representation on the council. I thought it was rather unsavory for that county council member to sort of point to us as a municipality that was insufficiently representing our Hispanic community, given the amount of engagement that we have sought and that we seek and that we have, and that we're working on. But I think this summarily carving us out of the port towns and all of that, and it's also just, I think it's an after the fact justification for what it really is going on here. Be one thing if that was the legitimate, true justification, but I don't think that it is. So Mayor, I think I don't know if you're there, but I think we need to, I just wrote Jolene and asked her, is it possible to make substantive changes to the map at next week's meeting? And she said, no. It's not possible to do a carve out for Edmonston at next week's meeting. So I think what we would have to argue is say we want to keep Edmonston in the port towns. We want to keep it in District 5. And so we urge you to take no action at next week's meeting.
Agreed. I agree.
Okay, so I can fix that in a couple of minutes and then I'll send it to everybody so you can take a look at it. I might leave some of my verbiage that talks about the partisan gerrymander
And
because
diluting and that's very good. Thank you. I agree.
But I understand if folks think you might need to tone it down. So
yeah. So we all agree that we'll send a document to the county council. And on the 16th, if as citizens you'd like to speak, you can do so. As a council member, if you'd like to speak, you can do so. You have to sign up 24 hours before the meeting, I believe on Tuesday. So sign up on the weekend, sign up on Monday at 6 a.m., but sign up at least 24 hours before the meeting.
Mayor, what's the date again on the meeting?
16th of November. And we have reached out to those who made the adjustments and none will respond. Well, I am getting a response from Denny Taveras. But Jolene, of course, she's responding because she's on our side. But Chair Hawkins, no. And none of the others. So, I think they're just waiting for the 16th. They don't want to go soft or anything like that. So thank you very much for this discussion. Any other comments?
Yeah, if they're not responding back, that's taking the coward way out.
Yeah.
They represent us in the county. They're not getting back to citizens or elected officials.
Mhm.
They're cowards.
Because
Well,
I'll say, I wasn't happy with Denny, but she responded to me and we hashed it out. I'm still not on her side, but she responded.
Yeah, no,
And
I'll
that
respect.
was necessary.
Yeah. Anybody responds back or opens the door for a dialogue, I'll
Mhm.
respect. But when they don't, I might just have to show up at their next little outing before the 16th and ask them why they're such a coward.
And I know you will.
Oh, yeah.
That's your MO. Well, thank you.
No,
very
though,
much.
but Betsy raises I think an important point for us to note in our letter, right? It's like, we're very concerned about the level of responsiveness that's going to happen with this redistricting process, because we've already voiced our objections and have received no response from the
Mhm.
supporters of this proposal.
Yep.
So I think that's
They have heard
total,
objections.
yeah.
I have texted all of them. And Denny responded. And Mr. Hawkins always responds to me. And
Not
to
now.
PGCMA. And didn't happen. So I just think they don't want the dialogue. And I don't know, Ms. Ferguson, if you've heard from College Park that said the same thing. I know I've talked to Patrick and he hadn't heard anything either. Yep. Patrick Wilhan, he's the mayor of College Park. And PGCMA did send a letter to the county council in reference to this, asking them not to take action on this, not to change anything. And it was a really good letter, and we got 3 responses that were kind of vague. Yeah. Okay. So we know where we stand, and I thank you. And if you want to represent as an individual or council member, please do so. If you want to do both, do it. Okay, thank you. And know that our Port Towns community is doing the same. I don't know how individual they are, but I will send an email again to the mayors to ask them to submit a letter to the county council. Okay. Okay. Any other comments or dialogue from the council? So on December 8th, when we have our business meeting, I invite you all, if you have the opportunity, to attend. It's just that I'd like to establish a business community, a more professional business community. It's a time that we will have an opportunity to talk about code, why we enforce it, and the chief made a great suggestion as to bring on those who are on Lafayette on the other side, which is Riverdale, invite them as well, because, they take advantage of our resources, our public works and so on. And they can understand the standard that we'd like to set. And so it's just to establish a stronger business community. So this is the first one, and I'd like to build so the breakfast can become more professional, and we would be providing them information, not just saying, the code is this and the code is that, even though we want to give them that, but also some businesses need to know how to step it up. What are some credits that you can get? So I'm looking to bring in information to our businesses. So if you have an idea, or if you'd like to join in, please do so. I also wanted, oh, well, we talked about that. I wanted to tell you about PGCMA submitting a letter to the county council. And we talked about that. And that's it. Thank you very much, all of you, for your work and being here tonight. Thank you for our guests. Thank you, Ms. Ferguson, for being here. Our guests who are here, thank you so much for listening in. And that's all I have. Well, actually, I would like to speak to the council alone. Just the council. I'd like to go into an executive session, and it would be really, really quick.
I think the chief is on now.
Is that correct? Oh, thank you, Ms. Indigo. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, and know that you can always call on us. I'd like to go into an executive session with the council members only. And if you are okay with that, we can go into our executive session and close out. How do I say it? Yeah. I'm sorry, Ms. Ferguson.
Did I do the reason that you're going to do that, and if you're not
to discuss personnel.
Okay, and if you're not coming back, then you would say that you're not coming back, so people know that they don't have to wait.
Yep, you don't have to hang on. We're not going to come back. We're going to adjourn from our executive session, and I tell you, it's going to be really quick.
And
is there a motion to?
The chief is on.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know if he had any report or anything.
Do you have some of those chicken? It's in the refrigerator, honey. Look in the refrigerator. We're gonna close out our meeting now. Is there a motion to go into the executive session?
I'll make it.
Thank you, Ms. McCulley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I was gonna say, come on now. I just explained what we're gonna do. All right, thank you. Motion's approved. We'll go into a executive session. We won't come back. And I thank you very much for everyone who has come tonight. I'm sorry, Chief, you signed on late, but we met earlier. I don't know if there's anything that occurred that you may have wanted to report. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. And council members, please stay on, and Mr. Rick will make sure that we are secure. Thanks, Ms. Ferguson. Good night. Ms. Barnes, thank you so much. Good night.